is on.
All right, here we are. It's Mark and Eric back for another video.
They got to be able to hear that.
We got some Zappa going in the background. Okay.
It's kind of loud. I hope it doesn't interrupt. But what the heck?
I'm sure you hear us, Steve Pennington. So today is the anniversary of the Neil Armstrong moonwalk.
I should go turn this down a little bit. What do you say? A little bit.
I think that's a good idea.
Let's speak about the fake moon landing.
So today is the anniversary of the fake moon landing, and I sent a text to a bunch of my friends, a group thread that I'm on, and I got a response back that was, just very discouraging. My friend Alex, who I love dearly.
I met Alex. He's a pretty cool guy. But when I was talking about flat Earth, he decided to leave the room. But he came back, and apparently he was sorry that he actually left. He shouldn't have left because, he might have been...
Well, he doesn't want to engage on any of the facts on it. But basically, he said he called my fake moon landing comment pseudoscience, and basically discarded
little does
the
he
whole
know.
thing. But I mean, let's talk about it a little bit, okay?
I mean, little does he know that the pseudoscience is in his own brain.
He won't look into it, okay? He's completely
reluctant.
A slave.
Cognitive dissonance.
He's a slave to his own beliefs, which is in scientism. But I mean, okay, so NASA themselves right now, they're talking about the Orion project, and they're saying that if they can only figure out a way to get past the Van Allen belts to protect the astronauts from dangerous radiation, then they might figure out a way to get out of near-Earth orbit, which is what they call it. I also find it very curious that NASA admits that all the telemetry data from the Apollo missions has gone missing.
Lost.
Completely lost.
Someone stole it.
And the technology that they had to do the moon landings, according to NASA, has been destroyed. And that it would be too much of an effort to recreate it. I mean, come on.
That's pathetic. That's really pathetic.
As technology goes, okay, if you accomplish something one time, then you're already to that point, and you can do it again. But for 50 years, nobody has been able to go back. The Russians weren't able to go to the moon, and we were not able to go to the fucking moon. Nobody went to the moon, okay? Nobody did.
It's impossible.
What is the moon anyway?
What is it even?
How far is it? 238,000 miles is what they say.
239.
239,000.
It always changes. That's the point. If it's true, how come it always changes?
That's way past the Van Allen belts, okay?
And you can't even turn.
Which right now they tell us we cannot get back.
You can't even if you were to get through the Van Allen belts, you can't turn in space. There's nothing to turn off of.
Right. I mean,
so you have to have a perfect shot right in the bullseye immediately the first time.
Well, let's talk about that.
I mean, who's going to put them
when
in?
you say turn, it's because there's nothing to push off of.
And then they're going to tell us that they played golf on the fucking moon.
And they
and
brought
talk to the president.
And they brought a big dune buggy up there.
It's nonsense, man.
And they orbited, according to what we're told, they orbited, right? And then they
July 20th. July 20th is when they came back, isn't it? Because they were gone 18th, 19th, and they were gone. Yeah, you know where they were? They weren't gone. They never left Earth. They never left Earth.
Well,
it was probably all pre-recorded in some studio somewhere. They never left Earth.
No question.
They never left Earth.
I mean, think about it. Okay? They supposedly orbited and then dropped a lunar lander off of the orbiter that they were in.
I mean, Alex, just think about it. Just think. Use your brain. You're so smart anyway. Okay?
And then they dropped down onto the moon from this lunar lander.
And then got back off.
And had no... it's supposedly a 10,000 pound rocket that was the motor for this lunar lander.
You know what?
And it created no crater.
You know what, man?
And no dust.
I saw a video saying that there's no such thing as jet fuel because they don't use fuel. They do like the bumblebees. They create this hover resonance thing.
The resonance.
Where they
the bumblebees have like this cavity.
Yeah, because they say they put like 250 tons in each wing. 250 tons of gas in each wing. Come on. It's all fiberglass.
And then
how could it be 250 tons of gasoline? 250 tons, man. That's like 125 cars, man. So 125 cars on each wing that's held on by like a few nuts and bolts.
Oh, you're talking about the jet fuel thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. It's the engine.
Like
it's the engine.
Mustangs.
It's the engine that makes the hum. It's the engine that makes.
Yeah. No, the whole jet planes are a joke. They don't use the fuel. They say all the fuel is in the wings. The amount of fuel that they say they need would never fit in those wings.
There's no way you would even lift off with that much weight.
Those
in the
jet
wings.
engines are levitation machines.
I mean, what's their takeoff speed? Like 100 miles per hour? Big freaking deal, right? I mean, how are you going to lift off with 250 tons of weight on each wing
it's impossible.
at 100 miles per hour?
Impossible.
It's not going to happen. No.
And that's a whole nother
It's a
subject.
levitation thing.
But that's exactly right. And I think what they use is not jet fuel, but air pressure.
You know the Coral Castle?
Yeah.
That's all levitation, right? That's Tesla stuff, right?
He did that with the cones.
Isn't that kind of Tesla stuff, or no? Is that?
Well,
is that,
Tesla
is
said
that
everything has to do with vibration and frequencies.
Yeah.
You know. And that's how he did that. He did that with these cones. But back to the moon landing. I mean, okay, so there's no crater when they drop down. There's not even a speck of dust on any of the feet of the lunar lander, which ridiculously, how could they even?
It's made out of, like Flat Earth Asshole said, carton. Or it's made out of
tin foil and bullshit, right?
What do you call it?
But when they took off, and you saw the lunar lander fly up to rejoin its orbiter, what a joke. How could they even reconnect?
Yeah, right?
But,
right? Because they got to get it right the first time, because there's no two chances.
You see that lander flying up, and the camera follows it perfectly up, right?
They said they had to time that way. But anyways, who's going to collect the camera? Who's going to collect the data from the camera?
And why can't anybody with a really good telescope see all the shit that they must have left there on the moon? No one has seen any of that.
I have a theory on that. You know, people tell me all the time, you can go see the flag on the moon. Well, how do you know they didn't just paint a freaking flag on the freaking telescope lens?
You can't see a flag on the moon. You can't see anything on the moon. And you should be able to. And as far as that goes, why don't they got this Hubble, right? Why don't they ever just turn it around and shoot something on the Earth in real time and prove to us?
Even tonight, why do we have to see what the weather is on a computer graphic image of Earth from space, and apparently with the freaking curve of the Earth and shit? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Why can't they just show us a picture of Earth from space? Why do they got to make it computer graphics?
And
why is it all the time, anytime you see the weather, it's computer graphics? Why? I mean, think about it. Because they don't have anything really in space, because there's no such thing as space. There's no such thing as orbit. There's no such thing.
Well, that's the other thing about
a vacuum. You can fly higher than anyone has ever seen.
I mean, they say space is a vacuum, right? Well, experiments in vacuums on Earth have proven that combustion is completely impossible.
Irrelevant. It doesn't factor in.
Okay, so then they're saying, well, they burn dry fuel. But still, that's combustion, right? It's
yeah.
It's not possible.
There's no conversion in the vacuum.
Space is
There's no conversion from one type of energy to another in a vacuum. Everything is the way it is. You're not going to turn. You're not going to make a left in space.
No, you have to have something to push off of in space, in anywhere.
Space is the only where space exists is in the mind. It's a mental.
But I mean, there's also, going back to the moon landings. Okay, the shadows are all wrong. The freaking fact that they supposedly had like this dune buggy that came down. Where the fuck did they put that heavy motherfucking thing? And they're driving around, and they're playing golf, and they're
yeah, right. Like they know they're coming home. They don't even know they're coming home at this point. They never fucking left the moon before. How the hell do they know whether or not they're even going to be able to rendezvous with such and such an object that's orbiting?
And having a phone call.
Think about how
having
much.
A phone call with
think
Nixon.
about how much leeway you have to give that story to believe it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculable.
It's a joke.
It's so ridiculable that if you don't ridicule it, you're the moron.
And plus, if space really is a vacuum, those spacesuits that they were wearing are completely non-viable.
Where are they ever going to test the spacesuit out to begin with? In space?
Well, they could create a vacuum chamber on Earth and test them in there, but they never showed that or did that.
Yeah, I'm just. It's easier to believe and more sensible that they're lying. And space travel is bullshit. And this anniversary is an anniversary of America and the world being deceived by a bunch of con artists who are going to take your money at $50 million a day and spend it on things you have no fucking clue about. But you're just cool with that because you think we went to the moon. And you don't fucking think about it in your mind because you're not taught to use your mind. You're taught to just repeat what you're told in school.
Exactly right.
I mean, how do you get an A in school? You answer all the questions right. Well, how do you know what your answer is right to begin with?
Memorize.
I mean, the way to get through school is to be able to repeat. Are you a repeater? Are you really a repeater? Is that all you're here for, is to repeat what you heard? Or are you going to use your brain that God gave you and think about it?
You have to question shit, okay?
When are we going to read chapter 2 of Proverbs?
I would love to. That'll be our next video.
Okay.
Which we'll do tonight.
What's up, Steve?
But seriously, it's the anniversary of the moon landing. Neil Armstrong.
The moon landing hoax.
Walking. And
he was walking in Montana.
We're just here to tell
you.
Or
Utah.
That if anybody actually still thinks that we went to the fucking moon,
give your head a shake.
I mean, watch A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. Okay, that's a good video. really good video where they showed how they faked. I mean, absolutely unquestionably proved how they faked the view.
You know what Matt
the
Powerland says? Do you know what Matt Powerland says? If you're a flat earther, you know who Matt Powerland is. He's, of course, you know what he says too. He says that the reason that they faked going to the moon was to get a picture of Earth from space.
And what they did is they just took a picture of the flat Earth from that high up in near Earth orbit through a circular hole in the window, and that's how they got their.
They fake everything.
Their
Look
picture.
at Nero faked the burning of Rome. He did it himself. He burned down the Christians. I mean, there's been fake shit going on since then. Okay, so there's a method, there's an MO to what they do, and it involves faking everything. Let's say, example, the 33 miners that were trapped, okay, or the, whatever story. I mean, the Sandy Hook, Boston Marathon. Come on, guys. I mean,
bottom line,
it doesn't really take much with YouTube anymore to figure shit out on your own.
But those moon landings, okay, the moonwalk, the moon missions are really a pathetic joke, okay?
That's really bad. Wires.
I mean, even right now, they're telling us that they cannot get past near Earth orbit right now in trying to create the Orion mission. Okay? And all of the technology and the telemetry of those Apollo missions are destroyed or lost. And it would just be too complicated to recreate that, blah, blah, blah. What? Are you serious? And they bring a dune buggy up there, and they have a lander that comes down that separates from an orbiter?
They get $50 million a day.
Dude, it did not happen. Okay?
Alex, give your head a shake. Do a little bit of research, just a little bit. And join the rest of us in reality. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, tell me how you think that could have happened.
I mean, to get there.
Look at the shadows.
To get there is one thing. Then to get back, you got back from the moon, and you didn't have NASA to help you. How the hell did you do that?
And
you
they were able to communicate the whole way.
Come on. Let's be real here, man. Come on.
I mean, I want us to explore and be the greatest we can be too. But
even the horizon on the moon was only 30 feet away.
And the image of the Earth from the moon was the completely wrong proportions, right? The Earth is 4 times the size, according to what we've been told, of the moon. And yet the Earth rising that they showed on the moon looked like the moon from the Earth. Completely wrong proportions. There's so many problems with the whole thing. Dudes. I mean, we're not getting into a lot of the specifics here. We're just encouraging people to look into it for themselves. But man.
And this isn't trend-setting either. This is not trend-setting. This is free for you to see for over a decade now. I mean, this stuff, when did online happen? I mean, go back to when online happened. I mean, this information was out there. It's your fault if you don't know. Okay? It's not my fault. It's not your fault. Okay? Because we're telling you.
But it's the anniversary.
And we're not telling all of YouTube. We're telling all of YouTube now. But, I mean, in our lives, we've been flat earthers for a while now. We've realized this. It was the fake moon landing that helped us realize the Earth is flat.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was a huge part of that. Any amount of research into the moon landings.
There's just a time when cutting edge no longer becomes cutting edge. And to be ahead of the curve or to be behind the curve is a matter of an instant. And this is the instant right here. This is the prolonged, let's pause this moment for a decade and you have your instant. Okay, this is the instant in time when we get our reality back, if you want it. If you don't want it, live in your delusion. Believe the illusions. Dream away. The American dream. Okay? But for now, this is a time where we get to take our reality back. We get to put our faith back in our own senses and our own God-given brain. I mean, who does that anymore? Well, you're welcome to. You're welcome to do that. That's the point. And that's what's great about the internet. And that's what's great about all the people out there that are putting stuff out. Is, look it, if people didn't tell me anything, I would know nothing. Okay? But if I first didn't have the instinct to look for it, I never would have found those people. And so
but you got to understand, okay, that the whole idea of these moon missions, okay, and everything that we're told about it is so fucking fake, it's not even funny. Anyway, so that's our commentary on the anniversary of the supposed Neil Armstrong first walk on the moon. Look into it. The shadows, the spacesuits, the non-crater, all the bullshit.
Different light angles, wires. Walt Disney. Why was Werner von Braun meeting with Walt Disney? And what the heck was Stanley Kubrick doing there?
Exactly.
Stanley Kubrick.
Why did
Hollywood producer meeting with Walt Disney and Werner von Braun?
And meeting with Wolfowitz.
Okay, so what?
And others. Stanley Kubrick, yeah. And he had just gotten done doing A Space Odyssey 2001. He had the set all set up. He had his rear projection camera technique made up. And
where were the stars?
Several of the moon scenes, okay, were like the same pictures and then different foreground images. I mean, the whole thing just this fucking joke. Please.
And the joke is on us. Look there's Asia.
Please don't believe that we ever landed on the moon.
The joke is on you and me, and you and me. The joke is on us. The joke is on us. It's time to stop laughing.
I mean, it's an insult.
And realize it. And when you do realize it, then your life changes for the better, because at least you gave up the Kool-Aid, because that's all you're fucking drinking if you're into it. If you're gonna tell me that you don't care, then quit watching the news. How's that? Can we make a deal? If you're gonna tell me you don't care about what's going on in the world, then quit telling me what's going on in the world.
That's right. Good point.
Why do you got to tell me every day what's going on in the world if you don't care?
All right, so that's our commentary on the anniversary of the Neil Armstrong walk on the moon. Please don't be deceived. Look into it. There's an abundance of information out there. Really, if anyone still thinks we actually landed on the moon, they just haven't done their research.
And math. If you're watching this, we have a great place for you to paint the flat Earth.
Yeah, and we both have your T-shirt. Is it a photo or a painting?
That's right.
And
that's right. We're in Buffalo, well, Springville right now, but
and also
that dude from Buffalo
Eric
that got
Dubé,
a few shirts off of you.
If you're listening, Eric, he's not so much, but I totally dig you, and I've been inspired by your Wing Chun videos too.
Eric Dubé is the first video that I watched on the flat Earth, and it led me to everything else. And so thank you for that. Whether you're a shill or not, I really don't care, because
He's nuts.
I don't even care, because he's got the right information.
He does, and he's such a beautiful guy.
But if you can get past Matt Powerland's guitar playing, there's so many legit people out there. There really are. I mean, I don't care. You know what? I've learned from a lot of people. I
like ODD too.
I have wise counsel.
Yeah, I mean, who knows who's what, but we just pick up the information that we can.
Well, listen. If you're new into the flat Earth and you want to really check some really cool shit out, Carol Ann J2. Her shit, dude. You ever see her shit?
Yeah, you turned me on to that recently.
Oh man, her shit is just, it'll make you weep, because it's so beautiful. Really beautiful stuff. Beautiful music, beautiful pictures, and just such a down home message. Carol Ann J2.
Those Mickey Mouse spacesuits, okay, that they were wearing, supposedly, would never hold up in a vacuum. I mean, just think about it. And no combustion, no propulsion.
A vacuum is one
possible.
thing. How about those temperatures?
In a vacuum. How about the temperatures? Exactly right. They had to go through the thermosphere.
Imagine half of you is frying and the other half is freezing.
It's not possible, okay? And space is a joke. Satellites are bullshit. And
why don't we have any real photographs of your hometown from
the space station is a complete
when they show
bullshit.
You the news every day, they show you the weather, and you see on the weather that everything is computer animated. Ask why. Why can't you give me a real picture of where I live?
It should be a reasonable request. All right, we're going to stop this one, and we'll come back very shortly with another video, and we're going to go back into Proverbs, okay? Love you guys. Thank you. Please subscribe and give us a thumbs up.